welcome back to the pod. Thanks for being here. If it's your first time, welcome to the Willie B experience. Hate it. Cutting that part out. And I'm not going to cut it out, okay? Because I'm keeping it real with you guys. We're back on the podcast, man. It's good to see you guys. It's good to be back with you guys. I don't like that I say good to see you guys because I can't see shit, dude. I'm just looking into a camera. I'm looking into a $8 million camera. That's all that's happening right now. Talking into a microphone with 8 producers over there and 3 over there. I got a whole team behind me. It's a whole thing. Couldn't be more different. Couldn't be more alone. People have said, damn, it's hard to do a solo podcast. You know, it's impressive that you do it. I'm like, I guess so. It seems like just a crazy person rambling in their apartment into a microphone. But nevertheless, what's up? You know I'm going on tour. I've been talking about it. You already know. I got to run through some tour dates real quick. Next Friday is my big LA show. Not a ton of tickets left, so if you want to come, please come to the show. I'm very excited about it. And the next week after that, I'm going to be in Sacramento, April 17th, and San Francisco, April 18th. And then I fly my ass to Providence, Rhode Island, April 26th to the 27th, Portland, Oregon, May 10th to 11th, and then Seattle, May 31st to June 1st. All those tickets are in the description of the video or the audio platform you're listening to. And that's all I got for tour dates. There's a bunch more on my website too. So let me know when you're coming, dude. Let me know where you're seeing me. I've seen some comments. People are coming to the St. Pete shows. Shout out. People are coming to Providence. Shout out. Where you going, dude? Comment. I'll write you back. And please subscribe to the pod if you haven't yet. That would be fucking sick if you did that. Dude, I got my apartment professionally cleaned for the first time ever. Or should I say studio? I got my podcast studio cleaned for the first time ever. I've lived in this apartment for over 4 years, and I've never gotten it actually cleaned. The only time it got legitimately cleaned was Kaylee, my beautiful, lovely girlfriend, partner woman, my partner lady girlfriend. She like deep cleaned my place for me one night. I don't know what the deal was. I think it was like, I'll buy us dinner if you clean my place. And this sounds very like 1950s. Hey, clean my place, broad. But it was like she offered. And it was like she likes cleaning, which I don't understand. I think it's a thing of like seeing the results after. But stuff like that, like cooking and cleaning is not my thing. Probably because I'm not a broad. No, it's not my thing because I don't care. Seeing the results of it's not the journey isn't worth the destination. That's what I'm trying to say. Summed it up. Because cooking, I don't enjoy the process, and when it's done, I'm like, cool. I don't enjoy this very much because I saw what went into this. I don't like it. Cleaning, it's cool when you're done, but I don't like on the way. You know what I mean? Wiping stuff, cleaning stuff. There's dust everywhere. It's flying in my nose. Your boy has allergies. Shout out to those who have allergies, by the way. Happy allergy season. Hope you're hanging in there, taking your Zyrtec, doing your nose spray. I oftentimes do both. I double dose it. I blast my nose with some medicine, and then I take a pill so my eyes don't itch. It's real, dude. Once spring hits, I have a black car, and there's just a sheath. Sheath? Sheet? Sheath. I think it's a sheath. What the fuck's a sheath? Sheath. How do you spell sheath? Sheath. Oh, it's with an A. Sheath. A structure in living tissue which closely envelops each other. I mean, couldn't have been less helpful. A protective covering around an electric cable. I don't know. Sheath felt right there. I'm talking about a sheet of pollen over my car. You can just see the pollen on my black car. So happy allergy season. Anyways, I got my apartment cleaned, and so yeah, Kaylee did it at one point, so she did an amazing job. And but dude, I don't like really clean. Like my bathroom, my shower has never really been cleaned. And before you go, huh, the reason is because I'm not a dirty person. You know, I'm very clean. So you look at the shower and you're like, this hasn't really technically been hardcore cleaned for years, and you'd be like, wow, it's actually in pretty good shape. So if it was that gross, I'd clean it. But you know, dude, I'm talking. They did like the crevices, the corners. They dusted. I mean, dude, this thing next to me was so dusty. It was pretty gross. And I mean, I'm just not dusting. I'm sorry. I don't mean to use a gender, make this all about gender, but I'm a guy and I'm not gonna dust. And that could be archaic of me to say, but I don't know a ton of dude friends that are dusting. You know? I probably should. But they came in, they crushed it, and I'm loving the space I'm in now. Dude, they cleaned my windows. Behind me right here is a sliding glass door. Next to the 15 producers, there's a giant sliding glass door, and they cleaned the door, the glass door, and it's so clean now that I'm like, what the fuck was on there before? How was I even seeing out of it? Were people spreading boogers on my door? Why was it so dirty? Now it's unbelievable. I'm gonna do this every like 6 months because I love how it feels in here, man. I've been doing this thing this month where or this last month in March, just kind of doing a lot of life, kind of getting my life together before the tour starts, because I know it'll start to get a little crazier with the travel. I'm making sure everything in my life is tightened up, right? And so it makes it a little complicated when things go wrong. I don't know how else to transition into this, but dude, my Facebook got hacked. Because I'm an idiot. Well, I don't know if I'm an idiot, but I got tricked. Your boy got tricked. I got hit up to do a podcast, and I'll tell you the name of it doesn't even matter. I don't even want to give them credit. Some woman who has like 900,000 followers on Facebook. She's some host of a live Facebook show, whatever. They hit me up and said, we'll pay you to come on the podcast. And it was a decent amount of money. But it wasn't so much money that I was like, this isn't real. But every opportunity that comes in like this, I'm usually skeptical. I'm like, this ain't real. They ain't going to actually pay me this much money to do a fucking podcast. There's no way, right? But it was the thing of like, well, let me see it through until it seems sketchy, right? Let me just see it through. And the whole thing was, well, they're going to pay me 2 days before the event. So I hear that and I'm like, well, again, what's the downside here? They don't pay me, then I just don't do the thing. If they pay me, sick. I just got a little bag and I have to do a podcast. No problem, right? So leading up to the event, which was supposed to be yesterday, they were like, can we, do you know how to access online events, on your Facebook? And I was like, or join live events? I was like, I think so. Shouldn't be a problem. And they were like, oh, can we hop on a Zoom to explain how it works? And I was like, I guess so. Sure, let's do it. So we get on this Zoom call, and the person has their name was like a weird name, and their camera was off, and they were talking. And my spidey senses were like, this seems weird. But I was like, well, let me just, whatever. Let me just see it through. And they were like, we need to show you how to do a thing on your Facebook with your access to pages. Can you share your screen and go to your business settings in your Facebook or whatever? And I was like, yeah, whatever. I was kind of like half paying attention because I was like, this is stupid. Let me just, whatever. Let me indulge them with the hopes of getting this money. And so I shared my screen and I'm like doing stuff. I added a thing that's like access to online events on. I was like, okay, whatever. And then a couple hours later, dude, this person added themselves to my account, and within minutes, I had lost access to my entire Facebook page with over 60,000 followers. I was no longer running that page, and I immediately knew I got duped. Like, my page is gone. And I think what happened is when I shared my screen, and I'm sharing this story mainly to make sure you guys don't get tricked like I did. I shared my screen, and I'm pretty sure I had to log into my Facebook. And when you log in, it's like you see the black circles. You don't see the password, but I think every letter you type in, it shows that letter for a second, and then it goes away. So I think that's how they got me. And boy, I felt really dumb, because I'm Captain Skeptical, okay? The worst superhero ever. Like, hey, this situation could be weird. I'll keep an eye on things from afar. and so I think I was so pissed at myself because I was like, this is the shit that I don't fall for. And I fell for it, dude. They duped me. I got duped. Captain Skeptical with the duping. No, not with the duping. Got duped. That's the third comic book is Captain Skeptical gets duped. um, and I'm joking about it so much because it was so fucking stressful. It was really scary. The reason it was scary is because, like, dude, that's like my livelihood is that stuff. And dude, my Instagram is somewhat connected to my Facebook. So in my mind, they have access to my Facebook and potentially my Instagram. Like my life, my livelihood, my business. Legit scary. And I hit up Meta, like a crazy person. I was like opening support cases, calling, scheduling folk. I was like a maniac, and I was doing all that around 4 or 5 p.m. and Meta emailed me at 1 a.m. and they got my pages back for me. And it was unbelievable. Big shout out to Meta. I can't believe how well that that sentence sucks. I can't believe what a great job they did, is what I'm trying to say. So anyways, it was just I'm telling you guys just to learn from my mistake. Just really be really careful. Whenever you see an opportunity and you're like, this seems too good to be true, it probably is. No, it's just be careful. Don't ever type in your passwords like I did. Don't share your screen with some random person that has their camera off. It was a really dumb idea. So just be careful. And I'm an idiot. But I learned from it. And it was scary again because it's like, dude, whether I like it or not, I'm running a small business. That's what this is. And it's weird when you get into this business of being a comedian. It's you don't really think about the fact that you are now especially when you get to the level I'm at now, where I'm a small business owner, and boy, it really takes the fun out of a lot of it, and especially when it comes to things like not just ticket sales, but like ads, for example. I've tried to figure out advertising for a long time, man, and I have not been able to figure it out. I did things last year where I basically would put like a very well performing stand-up clip and make it a Facebook ad video and have like a little flyer of, hey, here's the show, come to this date. And I don't think those really worked, and I put in so much money in those. Like, I spent so much because it was basically like, let me spend the money to see if it works. And I don't really think it worked very well because of the kind of A/B testing of here's what happens with no ads and here's what happens with ads. And, I spent so much money, like more money than you're picturing right now. It sucked. And so I'm trying to spend this year, like, what should I, how can I advertise these shows? And so I don't know if you guys saw my Instagram. I put up I'm trying to shoot these ad videos where I'm kind of talking to camera, like in this setup, but making jokes about this city. My first one I did was Los Angeles, and it's so hard to know if they work. That's the problem, is that when you put something up, especially like when you're promoting a show or something, it just doesn't get a lot of traction. It doesn't get a lot of likes. And again, you're always at the whim of the algorithm. And I've talked about this before, and it's just and I hope you guys are okay talking about this nerdy comedy stuff, because this is what the game is now. And, it's basically like, how can I get more people to see this thing, And it's tough, man. It's almost like they only push the content that performs well for you in the past. It's like they only really are pushing crowd work clips. Even if I post jokes in clips, that doesn't go as well either. So it's tough to figure out, man. I'm really trying to figure out the ad thing. I don't know if I'll shoot those promo videos for every city. I feel like it could get a little monotonous. I may just start posting, make a flyer, post that as a picture, put money into that. That's worked in the past. I don't really know, man. What I'm trying to say is the ad stuff is really hard to figure out. And if you guys have any ideas or any thoughts of what you think could work, I don't know if you have an advertising background, for example. I don't really know. But feel free to leave me some comments, because I'm still trying to figure out how to sell some more tickets, man. And also not putting in, so much work, so much effort and money for no reason, right? Because it's just so hard to figure out, man. Especially on an app like, dude, TikTok is so confusing to me. They're talking about banning it, and I'm like, part of me is like, go for it. That's fucked up to say, because I do have like 300,000 followers on there. But here's what's so confusing is I'll post a video that does great, and it'll get like 1,000 views or 3,000 views. I have over 300,000 people following me. How are 3,000 people seeing this video? I don't understand. On Instagram, that's more consistent. That makes sense to me. I'll get like whatever 40, 50,000 views or whatever, and that makes sense. And again, sorry for getting so fucking nerdy about this stuff. I have other life stories I want to talk about, but this is just where I'm at with my life, dude. It doesn't make any sense. And this is here's what I'll end with on this really boring section of the podcast, is that this is what it's like running a small business. Is these are the things you're thinking about. And I think when you get to a certain level, you can hand those responsibilities off to another person. But again, I don't even know if I would want to, because the lack of control is also scary, But the hope is that you get so popping that you don't have to worry about advertising, Tickets sell on their own. But this is the part of the business I'm at right now. I'm a small business, bro. It's Captain Skeptical. I'm gonna talk about life real quick, man. I'm talking about life, comedy, and get out of here, dude. Life-wise, Kaylee and I took a trip to Joshua Tree, which if you don't live in the California area, it's I don't know how to describe Joshua Tree. It's basically just this like desert with unbelievable rock formations. It's a national park. It's characterized by rugged rock formations and stark desert landscapes. Named for the region's twisted, bristled Joshua trees, the park straddles the cactus-dotted Colorado Desert and the Mojave Desert, which is higher and cooler. If you're listening to the podcast, I did not just become an author. I'm just reading that off of Google because I'm realizing if I'm talking about this place, you guys may not know what I'm talking about. Also, that's basically where people go to do drugs. That's mainly what it's known for, culturally. And we had a great time, man. Took a little day trip out there. Didn't take any like pictures or anything. It's weird, man. Kaylee and I will just go on trips and we just won't take one picture of ourselves or what we're seeing like the whole time. We don't post anything on social media. It's just we're just living our life and not really posting about it, and it's kind of cool. But it's almost like, hey, if you went to Joshua Tree and didn't take any pictures, did you really go to Joshua Tree? You didn't post a cool sunset picture with rocks? I don't think you actually went to Joshua Tree. Here's what's so cool about living in Los Angeles, though, is that you can drive to any terrain. Meaning, if you drive 2 hours east, you're in the desert. If you drive 2 hours like northeast, you're in the mountains, in the snowy mountains of Big Bear. It's so crazy. And then you can drive, west, and you're along the water, the ocean, Malibu, beautiful. That's what's so cool about LA. I don't know a lot of other places that are like that you have access to all these different types of terrains. Like it's a bunch of different Call of Duty maps. Like the snow one, the desert one, the ocean. Team deathmatch. Let's go. Uh-oh, is this going to get flagged because I said that word? Fuck, man. I'm done talking about the algorithm and all this bullshit. I'm done. This is my last time talking about it. I'm bored of myself talking about nerdy shit. Love is Blind. I'm into it. And I don't want to do transitions. I've yapped too much already, dude. Kaylee's been watching Love is Blind, and dude, fuck. God damn it. I'm into it. All right? This is my impression of me watching Love is Blind. This is stupid. What's this guy's deal? Yeah, no, they're weird together. Second time watching it. Well, don't fast forward it. I want to know what happens to Jeremy and Ashley. God. Yeah, just keep it. I'm watching. Third time watching Love is Blind. Hey, I'm starting episode 8 whether you're in the room or not, all right? Dude, I'm in. I think that goes with any reality show, is if you watch it from the beginning, you get invested in the people, and then you're in. Fun show, dude. I like the idea. Yeah, it's just cool. I think reality TV, I'm very easily, I'm easily in. I think we watched some of like the Golden Bachelor and didn't stick with it because it's just too much. But I was in. I was like, yeah, I can get into this. I'm easy. But life's been good, man. I'm feeling very good. I'm a little tired today. I feel like I'm a little out of it. I don't really feel super sharp today. So, which oftentimes those are the episodes that people like the most. So that's cool. locked into basketball lately. I won't spend too much time talking about it, but my team, the Dallas Mavericks, is on. They're on a heater right now. It's getting very close to playoff contention of seeding of where they're going to line up. So every game matters, and I'm getting really. I've never loved a sports team this much. I don't think. I don't know. When I was a kid, I was pretty into sports, but as an adult, though, I don't think I've had a team I've enjoyed watching more. It's been really fun, and something that no one is talking about is the player Kyrie Irving, who I'm just speaking to people who don't really know the sport. He's pretty amazing, and dude, he's been fasting for Ramadan for the last month, meaning during the games he doesn't drink water, and he hasn't eaten the whole day, and goes out and puts up like 30 points, and does unbelievable things. No water. I can't even get through a podcast without drinking water. I'm just sitting here yapping. Motherfuckers out here crossing people over, doing left-handed Euro step layups. No water. I'm complaining about the algorithm. I'm getting parched. Crazy. What else is going on, man? You see what happened to well, there's a reason I'm bringing this up. You see all this stuff about the Andrew Huberman stuff? How all these like weird stories about coming out about him and like ladies and having like a bunch of different partners at once and being kind of a weird guy. Dude, regardless of your thoughts on that or anything, and I like him, but it's such a what I've realized is when you get that big, when you get really big in the entertainment space, like people will try to take you down. If you're that big, I think actors and actresses are kind of the exception, but any other type of artist or creator, it's like there will be like a fall at some point. And you look back and it's kind of true. Like, you know, Matt Rife went through a thing because he was big as fuck and still is, but people try to take him down. This happens especially with comedians. Like every big comedian I'm talking like massive comedian has fallen in a way. Everybody. Kevin Hart had some cheating scandal. Amy Schumer, the joke stealing. Louis C.K., all the stuff he was doing. D'Elia, all the stuff he was doing. Even Dane Cook, dude. Dane Cook had this weird fall from grace. It's like when you're that high up, and I've seen an interview with Louis talking about this just because it's so interesting of what it's like to be literally the biggest act in the world and almost knowing, like he knew that his time was going to come to fall. And I'm not defending the mistakes of what these people did or anything, but it's like if you get that big, if you're arena level huge big, it's like something's going to happen. There's been exceptions, though. I was trying to think of people who've been like massive comedians and not had some sort of weird thing happen. The ones I've really came up with, I think Seinfeld's been pretty safe. Bill Burr, pretty safe. But again, Burr is an exception because he didn't get popping until he was like 15, 20 years into the game. So he was already so established, and I don't know. Gabriel Iglesias, that's another random one I thought, is he's a huge act, and I think he's still the same. There's guys like Brian Regan, but he was never like crazy. Sebastian, that's a good one. Sebastian's been pretty consistent, but I think it's these guys who have been who get successful later that are pretty safe. It's the guys who get, I don't know though. That's actually not true because Louis was one of those guys that got successful late. So I don't know, dude. It's just an interesting experience watching these people kind of fall from grace because it's the Huberman thing surprised me because it was like, yeah, part of the first thing I thought was, yeah, he was getting too big. Something had to happen. Someone's gonna come for him. Comedy's been good this last week, man. I've had this new joke I've been working on about relationships that's been going really well, and I think I talked about it on an episode or two ago where it gets this reaction where people are like, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, and it's been really fun. Even small crowds react like that, and it's gotten to a point where I'm like, oh, it's feeling like I could close with this joke. And that's a huge feeling because it's hard enough to come up with a new joke that works, albeit find one that you could close a set with. So that's really exciting, man. I love that I'm just going to plug that back into the act. And man, I feel I was running through kind of the set that I'm going to tour with this year right now, and it's so tight, it's so sharp. I'm so happy with it. There's in this whatever it is, chunk of material. Not only is like that's what I want this, my special to be, but I'm so there's no like weak link in the set. It's all like really strong, and I feel the best I've felt about an act that I'm touring with ever, for sure. Because I've worked my ass off on it, and I'm really excited about it, feeling really, really confident about myself. And that's kind of the time I'm spent now is just tightening up all the loose ends, adding in these little lines, these little transition pieces, and starting to just lock in. Speaking of locking in, I actually saw a really cool YouTube comment on the last podcast that I want to actually answer. It was a really cool question, which, again, if you guys ever have any questions or anything, put them in the YouTube comments. I always read the comments, so put whatever you want there. I saw someone wrote that they loved Dune 2 also. Shout out. That movie fucking rips. So cool. Oh my God. So this comment, I believe the name was Bill, but they said, describe those few seconds before you're introduced and your walk to the microphone. Oh man, I typed this out, but I feel like I've messed it up. Whatever. I'm just going to power through here. You're adjusting to the new view and lights in the audience. Are your first few words totally memorized and your brain clicks start? I cannot imagine the pressure. So basically what he's trying to say is, what's going through your brain before you walk on and then right when you walk on stage, which is a really good question. And I kind of wrote down some ideas of kind of how I really do feel. It's before I walk on, the first thing I'm thinking about is anything new I need to remember for the set, and making sure to run that through, whether I'm backstage or in the back of the room, make sure I can kind of mentally run through those words. And oftentimes I'm able to do that because if I'm watching someone do stand-up nowadays, I'm barely listening to what they're saying. I'm mainly just paying attention to the vibe of what's happening in the room. Because you watch someone stand up at this point that I'm kind of tuning out whatever they're saying. So disrespectful. But because I'm in my own head going over my own stuff, right? So that'd be the first thing. Go over anything new I need to remember for the set. And then I always try to go on stage with some sort of observation about the show or something that's happened or just something, right? Instead of just, I think it's just weird to go on stage and just be like, hey, how's it going? Anyway, so dating, that's weird. I think I always like to have some sort of connection within the moment with the people before I start just diving into my set. So I try to come up with something like that. Or sometimes I'll even look if I'm able to see the front row of the crowd or just what the crowd looks like, and maybe come up with some sort of observation about someone in the front row, the size of the crowd, or just something, if that makes sense. Oftentimes I won't be able to see the crowd, and I'll just walk up there and my brain will just start firing, and I'll just say like, hey, this guy looks like a cooler version of me, or, oh, wow, this is an interesting group here, or wow, or just something, just so it, again, I try not to just go up and just get into my set. If I'm touring, I'll try to come up with a few jokes about the city I'm in. Sometimes it's easier said than done, but I'm trying to also get better about that this year. And basically when I'm, Bill basically asked, like, when you're walking up to the mic, kind of what are the emotions you're going through? And I really just try to, I always like to seem very approachable on stage. I always like to seem happy, like I'm happy to be there. I'm not too cool, and just come across very genuine. Go on stage, start smiling, feel happy to be there. I am happy to be there, but also I think it's fun as the audience to look at the comedian and go, he looks happy to be here. This should be fun. Because if you go up there, you're too cool, you kind of don't seem like you give a shit. It's like people are like, all right, well then there'll be a little more defensive they'll be like, all right, well let's, what's this guy's deal? But if you go on there with a good vibe and a good smile, people are like, cool, man. Step one, we're okay with you right now. Because we walk on stage, people are immediately judging you. They're judging your appearance. They're judging your clothing. They're judging what you do with the microphone, how comfortable you look. And they're not consciously doing it, but subconsciously they're judging you. So I always try to give off a good vibe when I go on stage, especially if people don't know who I am. If it's my show, sometimes people are cheering and I don't really know what to do. with myself still. I don't know what to do in that moment. I don't know what to do with my hands either, because I'm usually holding stuff. I got a water. I got my set list, which I always kind of have in my back pocket. I have my phone that's recording, or not just recording, but also the a timer. I always like having the timer next to me so I know how much time I'm at. So I always have too many things in my hands, so it's kind of weird to be like, hey, and then I'm just holding a water, hey, or holding my phone, hey. Like, I still don't really know what to do with my hands, which is not untrue for the rest of my life as well. But what's so great about these moments of right when you walk on stage is the addicting part that no one really talks about, is that everything else in your life just fades away. Basically, all your worries in that, let's say, 10 minutes are gone, which is weird. And I think it's why stand-up can be so therapeutic and also addicting, because you're basically just distracting yourself from your life. But you have to do that because you have to be so in the moment and so clued in to what's happening and remembering what you want to communicate, and also picking up on any observations of the crowd. Like, you don't have the mental bandwidth to also be like, oh, I forgot to go to the grocery store today. Oh, I got to text my girlfriend back. I forgot. You are locked into the moment. And sometimes I feel the best when I'm up there because nothing else matters. It's the one area in my life, one of the few areas in my life, I will say, that I'm completely 100% present. And it's beautiful. Even I've had moments where I have to like poop, like pretty bad, and I'll go on stage and that feeling will physically and mentally be gone. I don't know how that happens, but it's happened multiple times. It's like the adrenaline changes your body chemistry. And then when you walk off stage, you're like, all right, poop's still gone. What does that mean? How did I pull that off? And then 10 minutes later, you're like, okay, there it is. Gotta go. I gotta go now. So, look, man, that's the pod. We did it. The typical 35-minute Willie B check-in. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, I'm just a guy rambling in my apartment. So, I enjoyed this. Hope you guys did too. Please subscribe to the pod. Leave comments of anything, dude. Where you guys are going to see me, questions you have for me, anything you want me to touch more on, hit me up. Again, still want to open the floor up for any life advice. If you want to get some advice from me about anything in your life anonymously, please DM the podcast page, or even DM me if that's easier. I don't care. I'll see either way. That's all I got, dude. Tour dates, again, next Friday, Los Angeles, Sacramento, San Francisco, Providence, Portland, Seattle. I'm going to so many places, and there's going to be more to come later in the year as well. Appreciate you guys being here. Have a good rest of the week. Talk to you later.